Many guys discover that their emotions and social expectations keep them stuck in partnerships. Imposed upon them, they frequently elevate women to a position of respect, always looking for approval and attention, which causes them to lose sight of their own value and worth. But what if I told you that there is a way to escape this cycle? Method for taking back control, boosting your self-confidence, and re-establishing equilibrium in your reversing the psychology that controls the majority of our relationships is crucial. Relationships by comprehending human nature from a biological, and we may alter our psychological makeup to create better dynamics, not just in sexual relationships, but trust me, these tactics work in all aspects of our lives. Work since they draw from profound aspects of our evolutionary history. Marcus Aurelius stated that the quality of your ideas determines how happy your life will be. By putting this knowledge to use, This video focuses on developing emotional resilience and self-control. It teaches us to act rather than react. We'll look at how to employ reverse psychology and Stoicism to support your self-worth and eventually raise your worth as a man. First and foremost, stay away from putting women on a pedestal is one of the most common mistakes that men make in relationships. Men frequently put the lady they are with on a pedestal with this behavior. Superior, putting her standing above their own. People begin to see her as someone who is flawless and incapable of wrongdoing, while simultaneously starting to undervalue themselves in the process. The notion of placing someone on a pedestal may be interpreted as an idolization tactic in which the man's subconscious begins to treat the lady as if she is superior to him and deserves all of his attention and admiration. By doing this, he diminishes his own worth by giving up his integrity and self-respect in order to maintain her on that pedestal, even if it may appear idealistic or selfless. The truth is that when you elevate a dynamic, it causes an imbalance in the connection. Someone to this degree, you inadvertently establish a gulf between you. This disparity in authority is not only unappealing, but can also harm the relationship over time, because partnerships are founded on equality and respect for one another. When one individual is elevated to a position of conveys the idea that they are better than you, which inevitably reduces your own perceived worth in your partner. This behavior has an impact on more than just the current connection. Originates from more profound, frequently unconscious biological and psychological processes. In terms of biology, humans and other creatures are attracted to. Our innate tendency is to look for partners who possess strength, stability, and confidence. Project these attributes since they are linked to long-term survival. Success can come from elevating someone to a position of superiority. The perception of vulnerability or uneasiness from a biological perspective, constant validation or submission, is unattractive because it portrays the other person as weak and reliant, reduces the likelihood of maintaining attraction. Marcus Aurelius, this dynamic was well appreciated by the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, who once observed, "Never regard anything as advantageous that will cause you to be unreliable or lose your dignity." This is as accurate as it can be. Treating someone as though they are naturally superior, like you did thousands of years ago, breaks your regard for yourself. In fact, by placing someone else on a higher pedestal, you are communicating to them that you are not as significant as they are by undervaluing yourself, and that dynamic is in most situations that are unappealing to the other person. This isn't limited to romantic partnerships, but to all human encounters. If you lower yourself below other people, you will gradually lose your dignity and sense of self. Why would a lady do that? Be attracted to a man who denigrates himself while treating her like a goddess? Human nature dictates that we want a powerful, self-assured, and secure partner when you place putting a woman on a pedestal and treating her like you do, as though you're saying that, like males are attracted to women, you don't have enough worth on your own to stand next to her as equals. They are attracted to males who can sustain their emotional stability and strength, own self-esteem, who are not readily influenced or reliant on others for validation, in addition to the brain's continuous evaluation of social standing. And our evolutionary blueprint includes hierarchies, so when you elevate a woman, because of this power disparity, your brain sends signals that place you lower on the social ladder, changes the dynamics of respect and attraction in relationships right away. The more balanced the status and emotional bond, the more sincere and enduring the attraction is. Your actions and energy will reflect your treatment of your spouse as superior, and the dynamic will change into an imbalance that ultimately results in animosity, or disengaged women are attracted to guys that exhibit emotional fortitude and power because of this emotional self-worth-based strength that fosters respect and upholds the attraction that sustains the partnership, which Stoicism tells us to uphold, maintaining equilibrium in all facets of life, including relationships, is not about diminishing people to feel better about ourselves, instead of recognizing and appreciating our own value by not putting a woman on a pedestal, helps you maintain both your dignity and the equilibrium necessary to sustain attraction when you remain focused and grounded. You can keep your relationships respectful and emotionally in control, and you stay conscious of your worth and significance that, when you pause, produces a healthy, balanced dynamic. When you stop idolizing someone else and begin to value yourself equally, it changes everything. Tone of the partnership, making it more solid, rewarding and equal for both relationships flourish when both parties are treated equally, according to partners. Each partner contributes their unique skills, so when you put one person above the other, it causes disruption. This equilibrium, so remain focused, uphold your dignity, and I'm in awe of how the relationship will transform after you stop elevating her. Number 2. Master the silent. When applied appropriately, the silent treatment can be one of the most effective psychological techniques in connections, but it's crucial to realize that this strategy isn't about playing emotional games, or it's not about using quiet as a weapon or as a means of controlling the other person. Rather than punishing your partner, try to create a purposeful pause, time of emotional detachment during which each party can consider the circumstances, evaluate their emotions, and come to considering the dynamics of the connection. This area is crucial for establishing clarity, preserving your mental stability and emotional fortitude. When the silent treatment can be quite successful when applied with integrity, since it elicits a strong psychological reaction because people are social beings by nature. Creatures, and we flourish when we are able to communicate and interact with silence, makes us uneasy, especially when it comes from someone we care about. Uncertainty and occasionally anxiety are the causes of this discomfort. A deep-seated anxiety that we carry from our childhood is the dread of being neglected or abandoned. The emotional areas of the brain are activated by the silent treatment, which goes beyond evolution, especially the amygdala, which is a component of the brain and is in charge of processing emotions like fear and survival, of the brain that aids in threat assessment, and when it senses a communication breakdown, it frequently causes a relationship to become alarming when one person withdraws. Emotionally, it compels the other individual to stop and consider what they have done. This break in the regular conversation stimulates reflection, which causes the individual to reassess They are compelled to consider their actions, their place in the relationship, and their emotional commitment. Regarding the consequences of their behavior, and most crucially, what the silence might imply, that the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius acknowledged the power of quiet and employed it to keep his emotional restraint stoic, which highlights the significance of controlling one's emotions, and clarity teaches that silence is a tool for self-strength rather than an act of aggression. Stoics used quiet to obtain perspective, escape from emotional upheaval, and preserve tranquility of. They were aware that responding hastily out of rage, annoyance, or confusion frequently resulted in bad choices and could worsen confrontation. Instead, they promoted stepping back, giving time, and silence can be a space to offer clarity to a romantic situation. Serve as a potent reset button when you cut off communication and emotionally withdraw. It keeps things from getting worse and leading to more disputes or emotional outbursts. The important thing here is not to purposefully create emotional distance or manipulate others by using silence. Instead, you should intentionally use silence to give you and your partner the space and time needed to consider the current problem. During this pause permits feelings to calm down and aids in avoiding rash responses that could harm the relationship irreparably, which is one of the biggest advantages of learning the silent treatment, is that when you stop chasing, stop responding, and force the other person to face their conduct, emotionally distance themselves from the other person, leaving them to think and be silent, frequently leaves a gap in emotions that the other person feels obliged to fill. Naturally, the person getting the silent treatment will question why there has been no communication, which sets up, most of the time, their curiosity and concern will prompt them to make contact and reflect more deeply on the connection and the things they will do. Start to wonder, what went wrong? And why is he pulling? When used sparingly, is this relationship in danger? Silent treatment might result in fruitful conversations and solutions, since it enables the other person to accept responsibility for their conduct, allowing them to acknowledge their errors or blunders. It also enables you to maintain emotional control without feeling assaulted or confronted in the moment, empowering you to take action based on reason rather than emotion reaction. But it's crucial to remember that although silence may be a useful tool, it must be employed. When used excessively, the silent treatment can cause emotional detachment and hostility. Using silence to distance yourself from your partner on a regular basis could make them feel emotionally abandoned. It could undermine the relationship's intimacy and trust. The intention is not to end it, your partner out for good, but to establish a brief separation where both of you can take a step back, get perspective, and return to the current problem with a high-value person is built on a foundation of emotional strength and a clearer, more logical attitude. This power stems not from the need to continuously defend yourself or seek approval from others, but rather from the ability to maintain composure and composure when confronted with conflict. The silent, when administered appropriately, treatment strengthens the emotional fortitude you possess, the room to process your emotions, take back control of your feelings, and eventually go back to the partnership with a more defined goal to become proficient in the silent treatment. Effectively, it's essential to comprehend its objective, which is not to build, instead of making your partner feel rejected or creating emotional distance, room for you both to work through your feelings and change the perspective from a place of strength and emotional equilibrium. When you learn to use silence, you'll discover that having purpose and goal can improve communication, fortify your bonds with others, and don't beg for her. Instead, try to improve your relationship with your third partner by showing her more respect and emotional stability. Begging for attention is one of the most damaging actions in any relationship. For attention, particularly in cases when men are attempting to get or keep the love of their spouse, This frantic request for attention is frequently an indication of emotional fragility and insecurity, which can swiftly erode respect and attraction. While pleading for attention may seem like a normal reaction during times of fear or uncertainty, it simply helps to diminish yourself and your value in your partner's eyes, just like males do. Innately drawn to power, emotional stability and confidence, begging, requesting attention conveys the contrary message, indicating your dependence and need. And prepared to sacrifice your self-respect in order to gain approval from others in one of the most mutual regard is a crucial dynamic to preserve. If you persistently use desperate tactics to get your partner's attention, whether it's excessive messaging or phone calls, or even going above and beyond to win her approval, are actually diminishing your own worth by putting your value in her. Hands that make her the focal point of your emotional universe while obscuring your personal demands and dignity, as well as this change in dynamics, might be harmfully dehumanizing because women are innately predisposed to react to their partner's emotional stability and strength. When a man demands his partner's approval or attention all the time, which throws off the equilibrium. You are no longer regarded as an equal, rather you are now viewed as dependent. This neediness is frequently unconsciously focused on getting attention from others in order to feel good about oneself. Thought to be an indication of weakness, which most people find unappealing, yet it's not. The emotional energy behind begging is what repels people, not just the overt act of begging. It is the desperate attempt to fill a gap that no one else can ever fill. When you beg for attention, this kind of conduct can also start a vicious cycle in the relationship. Over time, you portray yourself as someone who is incapable of achieving emotional fulfillment on their own, which results in emotional reliance, which increases conflict, instability, and discontent in both you esteem yourself less, partners, the more you plead for attention. Women subconsciously reciprocate your respect and attractiveness, value, and are more drawn to men who are emotionally stable. Being independent does not imply being emotionless or frigid. Realizing that your value is independent of other people's behavior, especially that of your relationships, is about developing self-reliance, emotional fortitude, and a profound feeling of, when you respect yourself and are confident in your identity, you don't need constant approval from others. Lessens this change, which not only improves your emotional health, but also increases your appeal to others. Why it is best to avoid begging for attention at all costs. Instead of pursuing your partner or continuously looking for her approval, concentrate on your own objectives and personal development by creating a purposeful life, developing hobbies outside of the partnership, and you will naturally grow more attractive if you keep improving yourself as a person. It's not about attempting to. Living your life is the key to impressing your girlfriend or proving your value to her. When you live with intention, you may live truly without depending on approval from others. And self-assurance, you have an innate charm. And when you quit pleading, stopping to play into the dynamics of neediness for attention, doesn't mean, instead of disregarding or being uncaring toward your girlfriend, learn to communicate and let her know what you need. Healthy relationships are those that do not fall into the trap of death inspiration. Founded on respect and equilibrium, when you can support your relationship without sacrificing yourself in the process. You preserve the relationship's integrity and your feeling of self by maintaining this emotional. Being self-sufficient makes you appear comfortable, self-assured, and deserving of respect to your partner. You must quit asking or seeking attention if you want to keep a healthy level of attraction in your relationship. Instead, concentrate on fostering your inner serenity and emotional fortitude. Being confident in your identity will make you more attractive by nature, and your spouse will be more likely to give you love and attention because you've demonstrated that you're a man who deserves it, not because you asked for it. Recognizes his worth and doesn't hesitate to stand by it. It's also essential to recognize that respect, not manipulation, is what builds relationships. If you want manipulative methods to get attention, such as guilt trips, silent treatment, or risky games, although this behavior may result in brief moments of attention, it is destroying the core of your relationship. Inevitably damages emotional ties and trust. Women are very observant, and scammers can tell when someone is trying to deceive or manipulate them. Being sincere and real is the best method to gain their respect and attention. And emotionally stable, giving up pleading is one of the most effective things you can do in your partnership. Instead, concentrate on fortifying your emotional center. When you do this, you'll discover that the attention you desire comes easily, yet you will also experience a sense of fulfillment, self-assurance, and tranquility. As you cease seeking your partner's approval, you start to create an atmosphere where both partners can thrive both separately and collectively, creating a more robust and well-rounded. The fourth relationship preserves emotional fortitude, which is one of the most important characteristics of a good relationship and a high-value person, is the ability to control your emotions, maintain composure, and prevent outside situations to determine your inner state. Many guys think that displaying their feelings, particularly in partnerships, which requires them to communicate all of their thoughts and feelings right away. This frequently results in oversharing or emotional outbursts, but genuine emotional. The capacity to control those emotions, react intelligently, and preserve steadiness at the core of whatever is going on around you. Resilience, or the ability to handle life's obstacles, is the essence of emotional strength. In a relationship, it becomes even more important to maintain your sense of self. Vital, since it enables you to handle challenging circumstances, disputes, and vulnerable moments without feeling overwhelmed if you're responding to emotional stimuli all the time, such as insecurity, frustration, or jealousy. When you place yourself and your relationship in a precarious situation, emotional stability is a crucial appealing trait, since it shows that you have emotional self-control. And the fact that you can manage any circumstance without losing your cool demonstrates that you're a stable and trustworthy person who isn't easily influenced by small setbacks or fleeting frustrations. Women and men both want a mate who is emotionally stable, wish to have someone they can trust when they're feeling anxious or uncertain. Taking charge might undermine your relationship, since it frequently conveys to your partner that you lack the strength to handle the situation. Regard for you with time, but when you continue to exhibit emotional maintaining your composure while projecting power and security are crucial for establishing attraction and trust. Being emotionally strong does not include repressing your feelings or acting as though nothing is wrong. Entails recognizing your emotions and consciously choosing not to allow them to dictate how you behave, or Marcus Aurelius and other Stoic thinkers stress the significance of controlling one's emotions to keep one's mind at ease and behave in line with reason, as opposed to being governed by one's emotions or impulses. Being strong implies making decisions about how to react to events rather than letting them control your actions. Being able to control your emotions results in improved decision-making, more effective communication, and relationship conflict resolution, for example, when a dispute arises. When challenging dialogue with your significant other, your emotional resilience will enable you to maintain composure, making it simpler to hear her viewpoint and respectfully share your own. You won't feel the must intensify the conflict out of annoyance or rage, but instead you'll be ability to keep your thoughts clear, pick your words carefully, and approach the circumstance with an attitude that prioritizes finding a solution rather than placing blame. the antithesis of emotional fortitude. When you respond rashly to every emotion or circumstance, you are exhibiting emotional reactivity. You miss the chance to react intelligently, which could result in heated relationships flourish when disagreements, misunderstandings, and emotional exhaustion are both even in challenging situations. Partners can maintain their composure. Circumstances. If you wish to be the type of spouse who is trustworthy and emotionally strong, you must practice emotional regulation, since our bodies emit chemicals when we feel intense emotions. Cortisol and other stress chemicals can damage our judgment, and however, when we exercise emotional strength, we are able to think rationally. To keep ourselves calm, our body reacts by generating chemicals that make us feel good, such as oxytocin and serotonin, which not only elevate our mood, but also support the maintenance of constructive relationships and a closer bond with our partner. Furthermore, self-awareness and emotional strength are intimately related. The more you know, the more self-aware you are of your emotional triggers, the more capable you are of controlling your reactions. Recognize when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, and rather of allowing those emotions to rule you, may decide to stand back, take a deep breath, and re-evaluate the issue with a clear, remember that you are less prone to make snap decisions if you are conscious of your feelings. Choices or behaviors that compromise your dignity and the respect of those in your immediate vicinity are also impacted by this strength. When your significant other observes you remain calm in trying circumstances, it inspires her to follow suit, which leads to a harmonious marital dynamic in which both parties can express themselves without worrying about conflict or emotional reactivity, which not only increases mutual respect and admiration while also strengthening trust. Stoics argued that a moral existence requires emotional restraint, and this is equally true in the more you work on your emotional resilience, the more you'll understand that you can manage nearly anything you encounter, including difficult conversations. You will always have the inner power to rise above a difficult life event or a small argument with your partner. Above all, emotional fortitude is linked to another crucial aspect of high-respect men's independence, since you are not dependent when you possess emotional fortitude. You are your own source of calm. You don't need approval or emotional support from others. And safety, this independence is quite alluring, since it demonstrates that you can feel good about yourself without depending on other people. This independence enables you to enter a relationship as a whole individual, as opposed to someone trying to satisfy a need or looking for continual confirmation that you are safe in your identity, and that this feeling of being emotionally open to your mate in a healthy way is made possible by security. In relationships, emotional strength serves as a basis in a healthy way. When you develop intimacy, trust, and respect, it guarantees that you can efficiently communicate, resolve disputes in a responsible and positive manner. And supporting your companion at both happy and sad times enables you to keep a feeling of inner tranquility despite external events, and transforms you into a strong, trustworthy companion. As Seneca, one of the greatest Stoics, stated that we suffer more in imagination as opposed to reality, as a large portion of our emotional distress originates from imagined. By developing emotional resilience, we can overcome anxieties or exaggerated responses, stop ourselves from descending into needless doubts or anxiousness or frustration, and instead behave with composure, clarity, and, in the end, emotional strength and rationality are about controlling oneself rather than attempting to control others. The circumstance, it's about navigating life's obstacles with poise, assurance, and resilience. Your relationship will benefit more the more you develop emotional fortitude. Number 5 in your personal life. Boost your self-esteem. Self-esteem is one of the most potent factors that affect every part of your life, including how you see yourself and how other people see you. Particularly in partnerships, how can you expect someone to value you if you don't value yourself? High-value guys comprehend this fundamental truth better than anybody else. They are profoundly aware that their value is not based on approval from others or the acceptance of others, but based on their internal self-perception, you. Your identity, choices, and interactions with others are shaped by your sense of self-worth. The conviction that you are deserving is at the core of self-esteem, not due to your actions or the way you are treated by others, but just because you are. When you believe in this knowledge, it can significantly change your life. You confidently handle yourself, believe in your own worth, and make choices that show your value and draw in admirers and respect. Conversely, when you don't feel good about yourself, you convey to others your lack of self-worth, which eventually damages the respect and admiration you may. In many respects, receiving self-esteem is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your self-perception affects how you behave, which in turn affects how, if you believe that you are worthwhile, you will behave in ways that emphasize the idea that establishing boundaries, acting assertively, and maintaining holding oneself to a high level. Yet, if you believe that you are not deserving or insufficient, you might put up with abuse, become weaker when faced with difficulties, or refrain from seizing chances to improve your life. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, recognized the tremendous power of self-esteem, stating that the soul develops colored with the hue of its thoughts. Or, to put it another way, our self-perception has a significant impact on our identity and worldview. If you think you possess little worth or are unable to attain the magnificence that faith will appear in the way you behave and are treated by others. However, if you think that your own value, you start to behave in ways that support that conviction. Raising the bar for oneself, pursuing worthwhile objectives, and making investments in self-esteem and personal development are not about being conceited or narcissistic. Rather, they're about respecting yourself and realizing your inherent value when you have self-esteem because you know that you deserve respect, love, and achievement, due of your accomplishments or the opinions of others, but because you are naturally. This inner wisdom is valuable, but it doesn't come from external acknowledgement or appreciation. This type of self-esteem stems from a profound, peaceful trust in your personal identity. The foundation of both professional and personal success is self-respect, which leads to decisions that are reflective of your goals and ideals rather than making choices based on uncertainty or the requirement for outside approval, such as in partnerships with people with great self-esteem, have the guts to leave circumstances when they are being treated disrespectfully or mistreated. Those aren't helping them, since they realize that their value isn't influenced by the opinions of others. Knowing that they should be treated with dignity and consideration, people behave in a way that establishes healthy limits. Research has indicated that those who have a high sense of self-worth are more likely to have favorable emotions, accomplish their objectives, and stay in a healthy state. Connections. Higher amounts of serotonin and other feel-good chemicals are linked to strong self-esteem. Neurotransmitters that enhance resilience, mood, and general well-being when your mood improves, and your outlook on life changes when you increase your sense of self-worth. Recognizing yourself as a victim of your circumstances and starting to believe that you are capable of conquering them. Overcoming obstacles and attaining excellence entails boosting your self-esteem. A few essential techniques, starting with becoming conscious of your inner monologue. When you encounter a difficulty or a failure, what do you say to yourself when you look in the mirror? boost your self-esteem with encouraging words, or do you depress yourself with criticism? And your self-esteem is greatly impacted by your feelings of self-doubt, and it is essential to learn how to substitute empowering affirmations for negative self-talk. Practice telling yourself, "I am capable of succeeding, and I am worthy of reaching my objectives and earning the respect and affection I deserve." Over time, these positive affirmations will start to influence your self-perception, thereby increasing your self-esteem. Taking care of your physical and emotional needs is another essential step in boosting your self-esteem. And psychologically looking after your health and well-being conveys a strong message to you and the people you care about. Participate in activities that take care of your body and mind by practicing eating well and exercising. Self-care is not a luxury. Practicing mindfulness or engaging in a joyful pastime can help you feel better. It's essential to preserving a positive sense of self-worth and surrounding. Having uplifting, encouraging people around you is crucial to improving your self-esteem. The people you spend time with have an impact on your feelings, ideas, and behavior. If you are continuously surrounded by poisonous, negative people who depress you or make you feel unworthy, your sense of self-worth will unavoidably decline. However, when you are around by positive, supportive people who accept you for who you are, your self-esteem automatically rises. Look for partnerships that are founded on respect, trust, and assistance. Setting and accomplishing objectives is a crucial component of self-esteem. When you create goals for yourself and carry them out, you give yourself a strong signal that you are capable, motivated, and deserving of success, which boosts your confidence, because it strengthens your confidence in your skills and worth. Therefore, begin with modest objectives that are attainable and acknowledge your accomplishments as you go along to boost your self-esteem. Will keep developing, and you'll start to believe that you are a person who can accomplish amazing things. Additionally, it's crucial to learn to forgive yourself for previous transgressions. Despite improving your self-esteem, a lot of people bear the burden of regrets, remorse, or failures from the past, and it's critical to realize that these negative feelings can cause significant harm to one's sense of self-worth. That being human means making errors. What matters most is how you learn from those errors, and evolve by practicing self-compassion and forgiveness. Take responsibility for your previous mistakes, resolve to go forward with a clearer sense of purpose and determination. Your self-esteem will increase as you release more guilt and self-blame. Finally, it is essential to realize that developing self-esteem is a continuous process rather than an event overnight, but rather something you develop daily by your thoughts, deeds, and partnerships. Is a path of constant self-love and self-improvement. Keep in mind that as you will automatically draw respect, adoration, and affection if you have a high sense of self-worth. People are attracted to those that exude confidence in themselves and self-respect. When you appreciate yourself, people will start to do the same. That your self-esteem is the cornerstone around which you construct your life, and it's the secret to drawing in wholesome, satisfying connections. Once you understand your self-worth, you no longer require approval from others to feel good about. You quit looking for other people's approval and start living your true self. This is the ultimate secret to success and happiness. By improving your sense of self-worth, you not only change how. When you believe in yourself, you see how the world perceives you as well as your self-value. The world will do the same, and you'll become stronger. Important connections with other people and with yourself. Finally, comprehending and putting the Stoic ideas into practice. Emotional regulation and reverse psychology have the power to drastically alter not just the how you view and value yourself, as well as how you approach relationships, by avoiding the typical mistakes of putting other people on pedestals to get attention or ignoring your own self-worth. You start to take back control, you regain equilibrium, and eventually develop deeper, more meaningful relationships that will boost your self-esteem. Is an ongoing process of self-discovery rather than a quick fix. Self-respect, when you learn to control your feelings, keep your inner fortitude, and remain focused on your own worth. You build a life with more meaning, clarity, and tranquility. Keep in mind that the dynamics of the relationship you want will only flourish when you value. Remember, Marcus, put yourself first and don't let anyone else tell you how valuable you are. As Aurelius sagely observed, the quality of your life determines how happy you are. Your ideas, as you start to see your own worth, live genuinely, and acting from a place of emotional power makes you more appealing to the best people as well as to others. It's about time you quit playing games and began living the real life. You were meant to live this life, so ask yourself, are you prepared to give up looking? Acceptance and begin living as the self-assured, self-respecting individual you really are. If the response is affirmative, then the journey begins right now. Start the process of taking back your authority and re-establishing equilibrium. And creating a life that is a reflection of your actual value. Please indicate in the comments if you're prepared to take on this challenge, and I've included some videos for those who are dedicated to this path of development. To support you as you proceed on your journey to mastery,